Hello and welcome, my name is Angelo Tsocos and I work as a professional musical director and performer around London and Essex in the UK. FiFine have really kindly sent me this K688 to review and also do a little collaboration with them on. My views are certainly going to be my own, I'm not endorsed by them, but it's really kind of them to send it to me, so thank you very much and I appreciate it. I'm going to be reviewing this against a Shure microphone, which is in a fairly similar price bracket. The Shure microphone I'll review it against is this one, the MV7X. But please make no mistake, it's only here to be able to compare it to. The video is about the FiFine. Okay, so in the box you get a user guide which is very neatly laid out, and it doesn't make any differentiation between if you are good with computers or not. It tells you how to set it up for Windows and also for Mac. There's some very nice kind of plush covers to it, so it will be safe in transit. And inside you will just have a box with a microphone, a substantially long wire, which has a USB-C at one end and also a normal USB at the other, so you can connect it to a computer or Mac. And then also it has one of these. So this is a little adapter so that you can put it onto your mic stand. The very, very nice thing about this adapter, and I can't go over the top enough about this, is that they've bothered to put screwdriver kind of slits in either side of it, so it doesn't matter which way you put it in, it's easy to take it out again. I won't show you the information on the front of the box, because they've put my address and stuff on it, so that's not viewable. Okay, let's get straight into it. So we're going to test the Plosives with the FiFine, and then I'll compare it to the Shure for your enjoyment. I'm then going to do some kind of speaking and tell you about how the FiFine mic deals with Plosives so well, which it does. And I'm going to do some singing through it, because obviously the point of them sending it to me is so that you can get a review from someone who's actually an actual musical producer doing it as a full-time job. Okay, so let's get into the Plosives for the FiFine. The Plosives are really, really good, and I'm just going to show you why, and then I'll do the test to show you, okay? So to be able to do this, I need to switch over to the Shure microphone because I need to touch the other one. So we're going to switch our cameras. Okay, so here you have the FiFine mic. It's not kind of an ideal viewing situation, but here we have it. So there's a lovely, beautiful velvet cover. I know other YouTubers have said this. I have never, ever in my life had such a lovely feeling cover to a microphone. So I just want this on every microphone ever from now on. It's brilliant. Please don't ever change it. FiFine. It does a great job as well. This is set a little bit back, which is nice. If you're thinking of like a Shure 7MB and things like that, that's set really far back. This is really, really set back quite minimalistically, but it is enough that it deals with Plosives and it deals with them very well. This is all a metal frame, and this is also metal. It's very light metal, and even the cover is metal too, which is good. The only thing which is plastic is this part here, and of course I'm going to say it would be really nice if that was metal too. It's held into this mount via some little elastic bands. This is quite an inexpensive way of doing it, so I'm guessing that's how they keep the costs down. But those elastic bands can actually kind of go, and they don't really protect sound much because it does vibrate through them. So that's maybe something to consider for the future for FiFine, but I think it's a really good job and I certainly would use it. Just comparing, this is a housing of like a industry standard professional microphone. Even when I'm speaking through it, you see there's not really any problems. It's all metal housing and very easy to rotate, etc. The FiFine is less easy to rotate because this isn't really able to go loose enough that you can pull it forwards and backwards. It's either kind of on or off. And then it's up to the stand for it rotating the other way. Okay, that's enough looking at it. Let's get into hearing about it. So we'll switch our microphones, our cameras back. Okay, right, so let's get back to the FiFine, and we'll put that lovely cover back on it too. So this is a Plosives test with the FiFine. Peter, Piper, picked. Peter, Peter, Piper, Piper, picked, picked. And that's at about 2 inches. I probably won't bother doing different because we were only going to use it about 2 inches. I've seen other YouTubers go back across the room and I'm like, it's just really no point. Okay, and then at a 45-degree angle, Peter, Piper, picked. Peter, Peter, Piper, picked. We'll do some beatboxing in a minute as well. Compare against the Shure. Peter, Piper, picked. Peter, Piper, picked. And at the side, Peter, Piper, picked. Peter, Piper, picked. I actually think the FiFine is better. Hear the FiFine once more. Peter, Piper, picked. Peter, Piper, picked. Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, let's try beatboxing. Let's try beatboxing with both of them and see how we go. So I'm just going to sort out this microphone arrangement. Okay, cool. So the FiFine is the one you're going to have in your view mostly. Right, there we go. Okay, so we are going to have the FiFine here, and then when I'm down the other position, that's going to be the Shure, just so it's really easy for you to hear. Right, so first of all, we'll do it with some beatboxing and see what happens. Switching. So that's the Shure. And this was the FiFine. Personally, I like the FiFine better. It's pretty good. Let's try singing through it.
This is the FiFine microphone. Oh, yes it is. This is the FiFine microphone. Oh, yes it is.
Compare it to the Shure.
This is the Shure microphone. Oh, yes it is.
Let's go high as well.
This is the Shure microphone.
Switch.
This is the FiFine microphone.
So I'm really pushing it. Going up quite high there to a high register of myself so that you can see if you get any gain kind of issues and things like that with the microphones. But they really don't. They actually do quite well. Let's give it a little bit more and see what happens if we do it a little bit more kind of professional sounding.
This is the FiFine microphone. This is the FiFine microphone.
Switch.
This is the Shure microphone. This is the Shure microphone.
Okay, so you can see a problem there because you're so close to it. It's built to be that close as well. I did get some gain issues. I didn't get that with the FiFine. I also feel like the FiFine gives me slightly better depth, and I find myself thinking that although this is really nice and easy to maneuver about, and I'm not getting many problems from this, whereas the FiFine you do get more from. I feel like I'm navigating towards the FiFine quite strongly because of the plosives, and also just I thought the depth sounded better, and I like the cover on it. And there's a lot of things I'm edging towards the FiFine for. So I don't really think I'm going to be using the Shure. I potentially, actually, I think I might actually just sell the Shure. I use a professional Rhodes mic for like studio stuff anyway. So I'd only use this for YouTube videos, for moving it about and that. And also for doing a little bit of singing, things like that. Just to be really obvious, the singing I did was deliberately pushing the limits of it. Yes, it's not going to be like a lovely quality album kind of thing. Okay, let's go back to the FiFine and then we'll pop it into USB. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me with this. I'm now going to just transfer this into USB. Something I noticed that may be of interest for you, you can't use the USB and the XLR at the same time if you've got a lot of electricity going through, because it creates quite a bad buzzing within your system. But to be honest, why would you have both at once? I think you're going to buy this for using for XLR or for USB. The USB has a bonus of having a mute button on it, and we'll deal with that immediately. So if you bear with me just for a couple of seconds, I'll just switch it over. Okay, so it really is as easy as that. All I needed to do was plug it directly into my Apple Mac that I'm using, and I was ready to go straight away, which is really, really nice. It's lovely to have a microphone that will just plug and play. I felt confident doing that whilst I'm recording a YouTube video. And if you know, because I work full time as a musician, I don't really have time for like long-winded YouTube videos and like all this editing and stuff. So I just plug it in and I go, which I love. That's great. I love less the mute button on top. Other YouTubers are raving about it, but I feel like when I press it, I kind of hear the wobble and things like that. I've got a really decent stand as well. I'm using the Elgato one. I'm using a Rhodes boom stand, desk stands. They're really high quality gear. But even that, it's not really adequate. Oh, it's actually... it doesn't work actually all the time as well. That's working. Yeah, it's got a little bun on it. It goes like red and green and stuff like that when you see it. But I made it quite clear in this YouTube video that I'm not here about the USB stuff, but obviously I wanted to include it because it's the right thing to do, because the company have bothered to send me this lovely microphone to test. So I hope you really enjoyed that. If you want to hear me using this microphone, aside from doing a review, I'm actually going to do like a proper YouTube video with it, with some proper beatboxing, like some proper singing, not just test stuff. And then I'll do one of my amalgamations using lots of instruments together. I'll probably record that within the same day that I'm doing this today. So I'll release this. And if you check back tomorrow or the next day, you can hear the microphone. So it's literally just waiting like 24 hours or so. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I guess I will leave you with just a tiny bit of information about the back of the microphone. The microphone has a volume level for the USB out, so you can turn that up and down. It's also got a volume level for your monitor, and it's a mini jack that you put into the back that can go directly into your in-ears, which is pretty cool. It's nice to have those features on the back. It's a little bit strange though, next to where the monitor is. I'm just checking so I don't make a fool of myself. Next to where you plug in your headphones, the dial is actually for the overall volume of the mic, which is a little bit strange. So I would think, if I had to recommend FiFine to change something, I would think that the dial next to where you've got an input for a headphone socket should ideally be for those in-ear audios, and the other one, which is slightly further away from it, should be the overall microphone volume. It doesn't actually affect me, and I'd get used to it immediately, but I do find it something that is a little bit unusual, potentially because of how the insides of the microphone are built. That's what they've had to do, which is fine, but I think it's enough to say that I think some users it may bother, but for me actually it doesn't in any way. I really don't care, but something I wanted to mention. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me for this. If you have any questions about the FiFine K688, please do ask me in the comments, and there's other YouTube videos which deal with the USB and like all the technical stuff, which I'm not interested in any way. It doesn't matter to me if it's whatever hertz or something like that, even though I work as a producer. That is irrelevant because everything goes through other gear. So you kind of nullify it. It's a lovely microphone, does well, and holds up particularly well against the Shure, and I will indeed be ditching the Shure to make this my main microphone. So thank you for watching, and it's been a pleasure.